Hello everyone, I'm ImKibitz and welcome back to Satisfactory, where last time we got busy automating the mission critical things I need to finally properly play the game, like turbo motors, fused modular frames, and of course, supercomputers. Because with those, we have access to the Mark III miners, and if we fully overclock them, we can get the most resources possible in the game from each of the resource nodes. Well, for the most part. We have Mark V belts, and we still would need Mark VI belts, but brother, with 780 resources per minute, that'll be good enough for a long time. But Kibs, what do you mean, finally play the game? Haven't you been playing already for the last 200 hours? And kinda yes and no. This stuff that we've been working on, this is all just for my inventory, so I can have access to building old materials and things I need, like the Mark III miners. But my real goal is to make as many space elevator parts as possible in this playthrough. And that's gonna require extremely balanced production lines and also infrastructure just everywhere. Because go figure, making tons of nuclear pasta or thermal propulsion rockets is a tall order and takes a ton of planning. For example, this is my master spreadsheet from the last playthrough where we're trying to make like 10 thermal propulsion rockets per minute, 50 assembly director systems, 50 magnetic field generators, and 20 nuclear pasta per minute. So there's a lot of planning involved, a lot of numbers, a lot of math, and if you saw some of the things we created in the last playthrough, things got out of hand very quickly. And they're gonna get even crazier in this playthrough, because now phase 4 isn't the end, and all these crazy parts are just intermediaries, so we can take things one step further. And so I've put together a new spreadsheet for Satisfactory 1.0 that I won't be releasing until I'm done the playthrough. But if you want to do some crazy stuff with this game, a couple of resources that I could not recommend enough. First of which I know most people are familiar with is Satisfactory Calculator. It has a map with all the resources in the entire game, and it is just incredibly useful for planning, especially with 1.0, where they've added in a ton of different nodes compared to Update 8. Another mission critical is this post on Reddit from Rye516, who has ranked all of the alternate recipes in the game. He's weighted things with this little tool that he's created. But the main thing is you can go through this and you can judge, hey, what alternate recipes do I really want to focus on based on your goals? And finally, there's a tool on Steam called Satisfactory Modeler, where you can lay out and plan your entire factory using kind of these boxes and what have you. All the numbers are blank right now because this is kind of how I'm planning my playthrough, and there's a lot of numbers and a lot of interconnected parts. But in general, the tool is super easy. You can say you want a ton of aluminum, for example. You type in the search bar aluminum, you click on one of the recipes, the alternate recipes are included in here, and then in the little box you can say you want 10,000 per minute. And then it's like, okay, then we need 20,000 scrap. Here are the options, you just drag and click. So you can just use the normal recipe, the alternates, what have you. Goes down the list. You need about 7,000 coal, all right. But you also need 13,000 alumina solution. So again, same deal, going down the list. That means you need 20,000 water and 13,000 bauxite if you want to use this recipe. So we can just delete that, choose an alternate, like the one I'm gonna be using in my playthrough, like sloppy alumina, and you can see we need 2,000 less bauxite. And this tool is just absolutely incredible, especially if you're doing crazy stuff in the late game, or say you're making dark matter related things and you need dark matter residue, but the dark matter residue is used for other products and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, it's like incredibly important, specifically when you're trying to figure out like final numbers of like how many nuclear pasta you want per minute, right? And with nuclear pasta, you need tons and tons of copper. So if you wire everything together in this program, you can find out ultimately how much copper you need in total. And that combined with the other resources I was talking about can help you determine if your goals are a little too crazy. Like 200 nuclear pasta per minute. We won't even look at the pressure conversion cubes. We'll just look at the copper. So for the fine copper powder, there's only one option. That means you need 240,000 copper ingots per minute to deal with that. And even using the best copper recipe, that's 96,000 copper ore. 96,000. Where in the game currently, there's 36,900 copper ore in the entire world. But even going a step further, say you want to use SAM to convert more copper ore, you need 80. You need 80,000 raw quartz if you want to use that recipe, but maybe you want to split it up. You want to use some sulfur, 48,000 sulfur, and yeah. Essentially, you can start to see what's actually possible in the game, and come to quickly realize that maybe 200 nuclear pasta per minute is a little extreme. Anyway, again, this program is available on Steam. Now, bringing it all back to the Let's Play world here, that's what I mean when I say we can finally play the game. We are going towards the absolutely insano objectives now. No more just like haphazard temporary systems. We are working on big game-breaking projects. Potentially. We'll see. So, I do have a massive plan for everything pretty much, but to keep things from being wildly overwhelming, in each video we're just gonna go over kind of the part of the plan we're working on. Like today, where I want all of the bauxite in the world. And that is not an exaggeration. There is 12,300 bauxite in the entire game, and we are going to be gathering pretty much all of it with belts and trains and bringing it to our main factory here to be processed into aluminum. And the big goal today is to gather all of the bauxite and other necessary resources from the red forest biome up here, which we have gotten started on, luckily. Last time we started kind of pathing out where we want the train lines to actually go, and we started thinking about where we want to have stations. So the train line has come down over this way. We scooted over to the left here because there's some bauxite right over there. We're gonna have a station kind of in the corner here at some point. But the big thing is we kind of have to loop that train to connect up to the rest of the system just over here. So we'll have one big loop through the entirety of the biome. And a lot of people are like, Kibs, why don't you just belt everything over? First and foremost, I went on the whole planning rant because there are other systems that are gonna come into play. So we need trains in order for future proofing. Number two, trains are scalable. We set up a train loop here, then we can bring stuff from our base to this biome, for example, and beyond. And number three, and easily the most important, is trains of a special ability where they can go CHOO, which is mission critical. So with all that, let's actually get to some work here. Holy macaroni, we got stuff to do. Number one, is getting the train loop completed. And speaking of loops, we need to bring the train track way over that way. I kind of want to go through that like weird arch there. I feel compelled. But if the train is at this height, or at least the train track, we're gonna hit that hill there, so we're probably gonna have to go uppies. So let's get this. Let's kind of angle the track a little bit to like there. We can dodge some of the nonsense and be at the proper height. And how I like to build my train tracks is I just like to build the concrete path first, just for a bit of a rough idea. Then as we go through, I have this train support blueprint where we'll have the actual track. This is why I like to set up things with concrete first before getting the proper thing in place. Number one, can we fit two train tracks through here? Like, will the train fit underneath the arch at this point? Oh, easily. This arch is huge. Okay, so that's good. But number two, looky over here. If the train track is at this height, then it's not gonna match the height of the rest of the track over this way. That would be terrible. So now, bringing this back, we have to match the heights with the rest of the loop and what we're working on, which kind of sucks a lot. But at the end of the day, it's just kind of busy work. General idea is that we're having a track go this way, we'll get the heights aligned, and then we'll figure out the rest from there. Yep, lots of busy work, figuring out the proper angles, and then unfortunately, we had to have a little dip in the track just at this point. But then, everything is on the same height, got all the curves through, went through the arch there, because I had to. got rid of temporary stuff, and there we go. We have a train line that goes around this entire biome, and it can bring everything back to our main base. So with all the tracks, it's time to go looting with the CHOO. We'll use the trains to gather up all the materials we need around these parts. There's some sand that I want, and if we're making aluminum at the end of the day, there's no getting around it, but we're gonna need a lot of coal. There's a lot of coal in the world, so out of all of the alternate recipes, I've decided just to use this basic aluminum scrap recipe that takes alumina solution and coal. But we'll get into more of that later. For now, SAM, bauxite, and coal, they're high on the list. And we have a nice little platform at this point, so we're just gonna build a train station over here. Recap a few things from last time, but if you wanna build train stations but don't wanna build a giant platform, you can hold a hologram by pressing H. Again, it holds it in place, but also you can get rid of some finicky little warnings like slopes are uneven, burr, 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 burr. Yeah, no, don't care, I'm going to. Let me build my train stations, please. And if we're building a train station, gotta figure out how big of a station we need to build. As in, how many freight cars will this train have? Well, there's a bauxite node right over there. I am pretty sure it's pure. There is a bauxite node right over there. And then is there coal around these parts? Looks like it. There's a lot of coal over here though. I think we'll just build another station over there. That's just where we have that temporary one in the sky. Yeah, we'll have a proper station there. You know what though? I mean, seeing there's some limestone over here. Are there more goodies? Something we're gonna need way later on is a lot more caterium. And is there anything happening? Oh, we're beeping! And you better believe there's more caterium. And also a purple power slug. Give me the loot! Thanks. And is this a pure node? Please be pure, that'd be so wicked, brother. All right, we're gonna be gathering that. We could bring it to the train station we're gonna build over there, but I'm gonna bring it over to this one. And then we'll grab these limestone nodes as well. Both are normal, that's 600 per minute each. Okay, and then when I was looking through the Satisfactory calculator map, I saw that there is some SAM in the hills here. Is it good SAM though? Normal node? Oh, yes sir. We'll grab that, we'll grab the limestone, we'll grab the caterium. There's 2 bauxite nodes. Oh my gosh, I'm getting overwhelmed. How many nodes is that? Well, that's 6 nodes that we're gonna be yoinking material from. Except, we're gonna take this limestone here, and we're going to plan ahead and consider this one pure node. 2 normal nodes give 1,200 items per minute, and eventually, once we have the Mark 6 belts, we can bring everything together. We can transport it on one belt. So, sounds like a plan. Ooh, and I almost missed it, but there is a bauxite node hiding right over there. Yeah, we will bring that up. We'll bring that underneath our train tracks and to the station. So that is 7 freight cars we're gonna need over there. Now that is a lot of CHOO. With that worked out, it's time to get the stuff. Look at all these little animals here. Get out of the way, punks. Give me the pure bauxite node, thank you very much. Just gonna fully overclock it, why not? And then as for bringing things to the train station, well, I've built these train line supports in this specific way so that we can always just add in a floor hole to grab the items and then belt materials underneath the train lines here. And okay, these guys wanna be little punk busters? Ho, you fools! Didn't you know? Last time I got turbo rifle ammo. And 2 rifles, I'm invincible. Fear me. Oh, I love turbo rifle ammo. Back to work here though, we gotta get the bauxite up there, so we have this little logistics box blueprint. We'll just build that wherever. We'll kind of just use these platforms to bring all of our items around. I don't really like covering a lot of the terrain with just random concrete lines. Kind of ruins some of the planet's aesthetic. So instead, we'll build our little logistics boxes where we have to. Get rid of all of these measurement temporary things. And then there we go. Oh, and then power. Power, mission critical. Again, we can bring the power underneath here with all of the logistics belts. And unfortunately, I am going to be clipping a little bit with the power lines. It is what it is. That'll help us bring all the power over to all of these mining machines. And that is that. As for the aesthetics though, when we're bringing power and belts around, we're not going to be adding in more supports. That would look bad. So we're just going to bring the belts over as far as they can go, delete the conveyor pull, and then bring the belt all the way to the next main support. Then get rid of all the scaffolding, and now it looks like one nice snug belt. As for the power, that's a little bit trickier though, because with the power, this is not going to reach all the way to there. It's too long. Wait a second. Wait! Okay, apparently this time we get lucky. But in a lot of situations, the train railway line is going to be too long between supports. So while I was streaming over on Twitch, I had this amazing idea where we have beams underneath the track. We just bring those over. And then in the middle of both of the main supports, we will build a little power nub or a wall outlet. Then we can put a beam connector here, get rid of the main beams, and there we go. We have a nice little power connection right underneath the train track. I think that looks acceptable. And we can bring the power all the way to the nearest train station. That will power all of the mining machines, and there we go. GG easy, everything's brought around and over to our train station. And it looks lovely. Look at all this stuff. Look at the lack of concrete littering the ground. It's very good. Then we have some infrastructure that's built over to here. That gets all of the materials that are through these cliffs. And let me tell you, these cliffs areas are terrible to build in, but I made it work. Sam looks really nice. And we even have the Caterium from way over down there. Just did the same kind of trick with the power here, with the nubs just underneath the belt. But to make the belt look a little bit more supported, especially over this distance, we just encased it. If you want to do that in your own factories, pretty much how I go about encasing the belts is I have the belt in place, then I build a wall, then we get these small frame pillars, build it on the wall, and then zoop it over the belt. And it looks pretty good in my opinion. It looks like it's encased, or adds extra support over long distances like this. There's probably easier ways to do that, by the way, but that's just how I go about it. But mission critically, the first train station is loaded and complete. Just did a nice basic design, added in a hyper tube cannon so we can scoot around a bit. And yeah, just a couple supports down here. Oh, but last most important thing about train stations, oh my goodness, add in a buffer bin before the train station. Oh my goodness. Have the bin right next to the train station, just like this, if you're loading or unloading from the station proper. Like, there is the outgoing bin, that's fine. But when you're working with 1,200 items per minute, or just really big distances, like going from A all the way to B, throughput's gonna be a huge issue. And having just a buffer bin to quickly reload the train stop will help considerably. So I've done that actually with not just that resource, but all the resources here by having all of the belts go down into a box. And then the box feeds into the station. And you know, I just did the box for aesthetics. Usually I build a box to hide ugly things, but this looks pretty good. Like, we have the belts just go over here, go into the bins, loads them up, and again, off into the station. Got the node way over there too, just using the same kind of design, same kind of power strategies. Even grabbed some extra geothermal power and added in this radar tower. That's why there's so much stuff going on with the map here. The radar towers can show you where all the nodes are, which is pretty neat, but annoying sometimes. Big picture though, we actually haven't really gotten a lot done. We have 2 pure nodes of bauxite that we've deoinked, meaning we have 2,400 bauxite from the pure nodes, plus 600, that's 3,000 bauxite per minute in the train network. Well, that means we still have a lot to get. That'd always be the case though with gathering resources. Go figure, there's a lot of them in the world, but we do have the infrastructure to kind of support it now. Some more bauxite, more coal has been yoinked. We're just off in like the northern part of the biome right now. So we're just working over here. Now we're way over there. We just have a little train station that's gonna be gathering up 3 things. Coal, bauxite, and soon to be SAM. There is a SAM node right next to us. But where? My little beep boop scanner is just like, is right there. But it's not. Why isn't it here? Because it's underground in a secret location. Down over here, underneath ye old waterfall. Just underneath the cliff, we go down into the depths. And what do you know? Spider! Turbo rifle ammo, away! Faster, faster, faster! More violence! I wasn't worried. You were worried. All right, SAM node, boom. More SAM for me. It also means more infrastructure is done, and so is our next train station. Just built some like crazy looking supports down there. I don't know, do you like it? Do you hate it? Whatever, it's done. Everything's loaded, and we're off to the next station. Just down over this way. Except I have a bit of a problem. There's some bauxite down there, there's some coal around here, and I'm gonna die. And there's a bunch of pure coal nodes down that way. And we're trying to make aluminum, right? So we need coal and bauxite. And all in, we need about 10,200 coal. So do I scoop up the 3 pure nodes over there to bring them over? Or do we have enough at our base? Well, I was going through all the biome, and I was just trying to get all the close by resource nodes and belt them over instead of using a train, because sometimes if a node is just close enough, it's like, may as well just belt it, right? So I belted over a ton of coal and some bauxite, and we got a lot, but not enough. We have 3,300 total that's being belted in. I was calculating kind of the resources that are around here. And with that small train we set up, we have 3,900. So it's looking like we might need those pure nodes. I just kind of wanted to use them for a different project. So in a bit of a desperation move, I went down and I grabbed some of the coal that was just by our base here. And I belted it all over. So new big bridge right in front of us. I hope you guys like the aesthetic, because that's probably staying. It's not a ton of coal, but it's 1,800 per minute, which is not nothing. And we just got that again from down in the pit where we built our first coal plant. Isn't that cute? But yeah, no, we belted it over. We're not using trucks to bring it over either, because although trucks do go beep, they are not reliable enough for the projects that we're working on. It's gonna be trains, drones, and belts for the foreseeable future now. But anyway, this isn't a ton of coal, but it does push us over the line where the rest of the coal in the red forest up there should be enough to satisfy our needs. And so, just another small station. Grab some bauxite from over there, grab the coal that was next door, and then I have an extra freight platform for something else. It's actually going to be to bring Sam to this area later on, but that is way outside the scope of today. Nope, let's go and grab some more bauxite from our final station just over here, which is a pretty big station. There's a lot of stuff around. There's some quartz that's actually just beneath this station, way down in the pit there. So I was like, we probably could use that. So I grabbed the quartz, grabbed some limestone, and brought it up. And speaking of, there also was some coal way down there. I was like, okay, you know, we kind of need that now. So that was brought all the way up here as well. Kind of maybe regretting not grabbing the pure coal nodes, but you know what? This looks cool at least, right? Yeah, sure. Let's grab some coal, and then there's some other resources just over this way. Like some more SAM, more coal, you might be seeing a theme, and that is all brought up to this station as well. But with that, the Red Forest raid is complete. We got it all. The last thing we just have to do is set up all of the train signals. And it's not too bad. pretty much you want to make a train block. That's just a thing a train can see. So if a block has a train in it, the train in the last block won't go into that block. Like for example here, there's a train going through here, and there's a train in this red block. The train coming down this way will stop at this sign before entering this area. You'll wait for it to clear out. And like on here, like a little red X will appear, and it's nice and clear. As for train stations, these ones are set up particularly weirdly, because how I have them set up is the trains will come down the outbound line, and their entire goal is just to get back to base as quick as possible. So they just turn left over the incoming lane, go into the station, and then immediately head back to base. So in this kind of weird situation, the train needs a pass signal, or it's like, hey, there's two options, what do I do? And then it needs to see what the options are. So there's gonna be a block there, so it's like, all right, I could go straight, or train might want to go into the station that way. So now there's two blocks set up. But since there's another train line coming through here, train still could be confused, so you want to set up some block signals as well. Once you have all those in, it should be fine. Why are you saying no? Does this have to be a pass signal for some reason? Apparently so. I guess maybe the trains are seeing this as a alternate path. I don't really know. Sometimes with the train signals, you just put down different ones and eventually it'll work out. And when it does, you get the satisfying noise. Listen. Oh, love it. So really quick, I just flew around our track here, adding in all of the signals that were necessary. It's not all that crazy complicated, thankfully. We don't have any like train roundabouts or or very complicated intersections. So it's all kind of set up and done. And we just need to test out that it will work. So let's head on back to base. And let's set some trains going to all the stations. I have renamed all of them like test 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if we get all of the trains running and they don't get stuck, then the system is all good to go. True, it's time. Q. Press Q, open the timetable. Let's add in that, and we're eventually wanting everything back to base, so save that. Self-driving on, train, scoot. Next, train. U. Station 2. Rock and roll. And then I think you're getting the picture. And just for now, we're just seeing that the loop works. There's no like weird track missing or anything like that. So trains are scooting around. Looking ahead at the block signals like, hey, is it safe to go through the intersection? Looks like it. And off we go. And with the test, just gonna kind of keep an eye on the map here and check to see if any of the trains end up stopping or getting stuck somewhere. But after hanging out for a while, it seems everything is good to go. But once we start adding in multiple trains going to each stop, maybe we'll have to revisit. But for now, all is good. Trains going true, resources out the wazoo, and the Red Forest has been conquered. And next time, we have to go and get the rest of the bauxite. There is still more way out in the swamp biome. So we'll have to set up more infrastructure there, but it shouldn't take all too long. And once we do, we can actually start processing the aluminum in our main base. However, that is gonna be all for now, so I hope you all enjoyed. And if you did, remember to subscribe for more. Then until next time, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye-bye.